Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got Alf Radagast playing the Tier 8 Premium Royal Navy Cruiser Tiger 59. He's divisioned with Squidpent in the Harlem and Larry Ha in the Orkan. Now, what can I tell you about the Tiger 59? Well, if you're not familiar, I'm going to go ahead and give you the breakdown. I know this game has kind of a slow start, so we're going to take just a second and I will read for you what is in the World of Warships Wiki. In 1941, two improved Fiji-class cruisers were ordered. In 1948, it was decided to complete the ships according to a modified project by installing two 152mm dual-purpose mounts. HMS Tiger was laid down in October 1941. The ship was launched only in 1945, and the next year all work on her was halted. In March 1959, Tiger entered service in a new capacity, having been converted into an anti-aircraft defense cruiser. Between 1968 and 1972, she was transformed into a helicopter carrier. Okay, so now we know a little bit about the history of the actual ship. Let me tell you about what the guns, etc., are on this ship. They're, of course, 152s. Base reload time of 3.2 seconds, which you can see there on the bottom of your screen.
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on
Turret rotation speed of 38 degrees per second gives you 180-degree turn time of 4.74 seconds. That's very fast. Firing range base 15.6 kilometers with a max dispersion of 69 meters. So these guns are very accurate. Maximum AP shell damage is 3,200, and the initial AP shell velocity is 768 meters per second. Now that's, of course, being Royal Navy cruiser. That's all this ship is equipped with, is these AP shells that have a really quick arming, which means that you can do damage on a lot of things that you might otherwise not be able to do damage to using AP shells. The anti-aircraft defense is, well, it's nothing to write home about. Let's just say that. Maneuverability, max speed, 30.25 knots. So I think it's fair to say that this is a fairly slow cruiser. Turning circle, 590 meters. So it is a slow, very maneuverable cruiser. This is like a U.S. destroyer Sims type of maneuverability. And a rudder shift time base of 8.9 seconds. The concealment base is 11.36 kilometers with a base air detectability range of 8.52 kilometers. Now you can see that there's opportunity to get your detectability down considerably lower. And then we talk about what this ship carries. Well, it carries, as you can see on the bottom of your screen, repair party, heel, smoke, radar, and defensive fire. So it is a very squishy ship that can eat citadels from really almost anything. I'm kind of lucky there, as both Alf and Larry work to secure the Bravo cap. There's no smoke yet, which I'm kind of surprised by, but
crews are on full alert.
yeah, that Massachusetts there, I have to hope the Massachusetts is focused
Smoke generator
on
activated.
someone else. It looked like he was turning his guns this way. So that smoke came just in time.
Smoke screen set.
Now, I'm not really sure why Larry is going to stay in the cap. You can see the Baltimore is the red Baltimore is pushing into the Bravo cap. Z-23 there. Larry could push out, but I think he made the right call sitting, given that there's a Z-23 right in front of him.
Torpedoes direct front.
Because that Massachusetts is still out there. Here come the torpedoes.
Torpedoes dead ahead.
Plenty of warning about them. I think I'd probably keep pushing the fire button while I was trying to maneuver here. But that Z-23 is in trouble anyway. And there is that rudder going to work. It's, the base rudder shift is not too good, but the maneuverability, the turning circle on this thing is amazing. And Squid finishes off the Z-23. So the good guys have secured the Bravo cap, and Larry is still sitting in the cap. I'm really not getting that. I mean, maybe he's hoping to get a torpedo volley off, but I just really feel like he could be a lot more effective if he were to leave from where he's at right now.
Submarine in sight.
Alf has a really keen awareness when it comes to things like, where's the sub, for example. Though he may be using it in this case, his anti-sub weaponry, to figure out where the bad guys are. So the good guys are down Chapayev. Bad guys are down Z-23 and Split. And where is Alf going to go? If he continues forward, Massachusetts is liable to splatter him. But if he gets detected turning this way, he's liable to get splattered too. I think maybe I would just continue running the direction I am and go around this, between these two rocks that are on the port and starboard side forward of him. Because if he sits here, he's got a lot of red ships that are going to be able to get shells on him. Oh, he's coming to starboard, and well, we'll just have to hope. He's got smoke back up here in a second. But Kutuzov, Baltimore, there's a lot of guns there that can do a lot of damage. And Alpha's about to go face into the island. This is, maybe he did this intentionally, I don't know. But, it's a good idea to keep an eye on the minimap, because where he's sitting right now, broadside to a lot of the red team, I think I probably would smoke if I ran into the island here, because something, it's got to be coming. Something's going to come with big shells. I'm all for economizing on the usage of smoke. And that Balti's trying to push around the corner there. Yeah, ooh, yeah, there was a big shot. So a little too late on the smoke for that, but I don't know for certainty, but I'm guessing Alf and Squid are talking, and Squid may have been saying, I'll take care of the Baltimore, but Constellation beats both of them to it. With a cross the map shot from J1, from J5 to take out the Baltimore. Vladivostok finishes off the friendly North Carolina, and our hero is raining shells on the Massachusetts, just doing chip damage. These 152s, unless you're hitting the superstructure, are not going to be doing a lot of damage. You can see that was a pretty decent shot there. I think I'd probably zoom in just for a closer look, make sure exactly where I'm hitting. But that is consistent, chipping away at the HP, although that last volley didn't do anything. Yeah, I think these shells a lot of them were not landing in the superstructure. Magi finishes off the Massachusetts. Good guys are now down 3 ships. Bad guys are down 5. Vladivostok is in rough shape. And looks like he plans to make a run at the Constellation. Vladivostok is doing some serious healing. Alf looks like he's going to turn and try and use the island to avoid the torps. I'm going to stop this here for just a second. Those of you who wonder, how can I defend against subs? Well, there's some things you can't, like one of them popping up right in front of you and just shotgun blasting you in the face. That there's not a whole lot you can do about, but this is a great example of using the terrain to your advantage. These are homing torpedoes. You can see that because they're turning. And I think Alf, realizing that, is just going to accelerate. Now, all of these Royal Navy cruisers have pretty rapid acceleration. He's going to accelerate the torpedoes in order to stay ahead of him and track his position as part of their tracking, are going to put it ahead of his position. And I think that's going to mean these torpedoes are going to be caught by the island. It's gonna be close. But yes, they do hit the island. So nicely done, Al. Hydro is up. And this would be a really good time to start using that anti-sub defense weaponry again, because you can see right where that red sub is at. You can still see right where he is.
Torpedoes to starboard.
Might be a little far back. We'll see. 9 seconds. Can you cross that? 9 seconds. That looks good. Yeah, I think he's going to catch him with both sets here. There we go. Nice hit. 4,200 damage. Our hero takes a little more damage and makes use of another heal. And
Torpedoes to port.
Basin Jorn narrowly avoids being torpedoed to death. That sub is...
Smoke generator activated.
He was continuing to take damage. He's apparently just healed. Ooh, there's a big hit. And Alf takes out the salmon. Siliwangi's now pushing in. Bad guys are down 4 ships. Excuse me, good guys are down 4 ships. Bad guys are down 6. Siliwangi goes dark. Larry looks like he's going to be pushing in order to spot. Larry's position is really... He's compromised there because he's got Kutuzov on one flank. Now, Larry's gone nose into the Kutuzov, which means he's going to be taking a lot of heat from the Siliwangi. I think I'd zoom back a little. There you go. A little easier to target the Siliwangi. And you can see that these shells, similar to the other ships in the Royal Navy tech tree line, the cruisers, these shells do not move all that quickly. And that can be a little bit of a challenge to land on a maneuverable destroyer in particular. And I think Larry's in trouble. Yep. Kutuzov got his broadside and finished him off. And Basin Jorn finishes off the Siliwangi with torpedoes. But the bad guys now have 5 ships. Good guys have 6. Good guys have a points lead, a caps lead. It's looking pretty good for the good guys. Now Larry wasn't able to finish anybody off, but Squid now both have 1 kill apiece. And the game continues. Shikaku, friendly Shikaku, as Squid finishes off the Cross of Dorn. Shikaku is dropping the Vladivostok. And our hero is just trying to get shells into the superstructure. Now, one thing that is conspicuously missing from this ship that is so often going to be found on these Royal Navy cruisers, as Basin Jorn gets sunk, this thing does not have any torpedoes. And yeah, the maneuverability on this ship is just phenomenal. So he's able to avoid getting stuck on these rocks, which I think most any other cruiser would have. And Alf just keeps track of where that sub is likely to be, puts more depth charges out there. Those guns are not currently pointed at Alf, thank goodness. So Alf puts more shells into the side of the Vladivostok and turns around in order to keep up the heat. Vladivostok is pushing right at Benson, which means he's liable to eat a torpedo. He avoids all the torpedoes, and Alf is going to work on that superstructure. And Squid finishes off Vladivostok, so that's kill number 3 for Squid. Really well played game. And at this point, I think this game is handily in the bag. Green team, 890 points. Red team, 532. With a 2 cap advantage, a 2 ship advantage. I don't see this game going the distance. Kuznetsov beginning to reverse. I'm not sure I would have pushed out here. Could have used the island and just stayed out of sight.
Smoke generator activated.
Smoke works too.
Torpedoes to starboard.
Kuznetsov has Squid firing from the Harlem on one side and Alf firing from Tiger on the other side. And Benson is probably pushing in with torpedoes ready. There's also a Moggy way out there who's trying to get shells on the Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov finally gets smoke back up.
Torpedoes direct.
And there's the Sturdy.
Torpedoes dead ahead. Torpedoes dead ahead. Torpedoes to starboard.
Alf made a great call about the direction that he thought that the sub was going to go, and just like that, it's game over. And let's very quickly take a look at the final tallies here. So that's 91,630 damage, 14 aircraft shot down. It's pretty impressive in a Royal Navy cruiser. 184 shells on target at detection. A couple of floods, and that's coming off of these anti-sub detonations that are causing the subs to flood out. Multiple kills and incapacitations and decaps. Really well played game. Well played ICOP. I'm not sure exactly what Larry's contribution was. I know he was there, and I'm sure he did some things that we just couldn't see. But on the scoreboard, we can see that Squid and our hero, between them, it took quite a toll on the red team. So well played, Al. Thanks a lot for sending this replay. Those of you joining me, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, hope you'll consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.